The first to feel the change brought about by the Octopus King's precious organs was the Octopus King himself. Next came Qin Gang, whose energy surged at an unprecedented rate. These two are now starting to undergo a transformation so massive that it can be called a rebirth. Thorn and White Tiger watched from the sidelines as their brothers ascended to become a different organism. Even Godtree himself did not expect such a massive change in those two. The Emperor Alligator shifted to a more draconic appearance as it achieved the second order of transcendence. Qin Gang also assumed a new form, resembling a beast more than a normal human with his earth element integration. It was a sight to behold, and Godtree was incredibly pleased with the results. Qin Gang's evolution is gradually surpassing the realms possible for humans. His aura has become increasingly vague due to the earth element inside his body. This man can feel the new improved spirit within him. Thorn praised her friend for becoming more handsome with his new beastly form. Qin Gang advised everyone to step aside so he could show what he's capable of now. He concentrated his earth power on his fingertips and started manipulating the ground below. Godtree, Sparky, Bald Head, Golden Silk Monkey, and Boar watched in shock. Qin Gang controlled the earth element from the ground itself to conjure some sort of structure. He single-handedly built an array of castles and buildings just through element alteration. Godtree could not have asked for a better upgrade than this. Thorn was stunned. All Qin Gang wants is to hear Godtree praise his impressive skill, but the tree was just thinking about how this servant of his could rake in the money if he went into real estate. That's an infinite money glitch. Everyone gave Qin Gang their praise for such an impressive showing, but he got too exhausted after using up all his spiritual energy at once. Thorn was worried that this guy might just die after showing off. Qin Gang reverted to his human form and fell from his castle. He was luckily caught by a scaly hand. The newly improved Emperor Alligator could only sigh in resignation after watching Qin Gang overexert himself. If it weren't for this fourth brother of his, Qin Gang might have really suffered such an embarrassing death. Emperor Alligator just gave him a disapproving look for a moment. Godtree observed that the reptilian beast is starting to resemble that of a giant dragon. Its evolution path might be steering near the path of becoming a true dragon. In addition to that, this monster was still suppressing its own spiritual power, yet there's an aura of sharpness continuously emanating. The Emperor has also gained the Bloodthirsty Tyrant ability. As he gets more injured and angrier, his speed, strength, and healing multiply several times over. Godtree knows that this awakening is truly terrifying if it were placed on the battlefield now. As they were busy evaluating their improvements, Thorn started feeling multiple auras coming their way. Yuziu followed her line of sight and spotted a very domineering sight. The little Iron Eater Panda is drinking his liquor, and that's a sign that things are going smoothly. He's casually leading a massive pack of fearsome Arctic bears to meet Godtree. New companions just arrived. In addition, each step of the little panda is producing some curious effects. Qin Gang noticed it and called out the little panda. This Iron Eater little fella is actually freezing the ground as he walks. Godtree was quite curious as to how that development happened. Finally, the pack of bears led by the cuddly beast arrived to seek an audience with Godtree. Yuziu looked at the bears staring at him while holding their breaths and not making any sudden movements. Little Panda's mission has been completed. He successfully called over a whole tribe of fearsome ice beasts. Little bro is just doing side quests. Arctic bears of all shapes and sizes marched forwards. Even the cubs came a long way to meet Godtree. In response to their efforts, Godtree flashed a forced smile to welcome the new additions to the team. Instead of feeling secured, seeing the crooked smile made the Arctic bear cubs tremble with fear instead. Iron Eater Panda called out his boss for scaring the poor young cubs when you just wanted to make himself look cute. If you take a head count of these very powerful additions, we can see that there are not one, not two, but 4 transcendent First Order bears in the mix. Yuziu counted a total of 120 Arctic bears, including 4 powerful ones. He also decided that the one that marched ahead of the pack, an Arctic bear with a gnarly battle scar on its eye, should be the leader. It was a mutated Arctic bear after all. It has broken through the second order of transcendence. On top of ice abilities, it also possesses a plethora of thunder techniques. Godtree became excited at the prospect of a giant bear with thunder attributes. They have bald head for thunder affinity, but this is on another level. However, he was extremely confused as to how Little Panda managed to bring a whole tribe so easily when the previous Arctic bears they encountered wouldn't even yield in death. This Iron Eater Panda may look dumb sometimes, but he can actually negotiate well. The bears agreed not to submit but to form an alliance with food and shelter included. God Tree approved of the business-savvy decision to integrate a powerful race without bloodshed and with just mutual benefits. The leader of the pack swears loyalty and assured them that the bears will be reliable allies. Yuziyu extended his roots and shook the mutated Arctic bear's paws as a gesture of unification. They will have each other's backs from now on. To celebrate this beautiful alliance, Golden Silk Monkey hurriedly brought out the massive jar of booze. The beasts under God Tree's halo drank heartily for the sake of new companions tonight. Yuziyu also tasked Qinggang to take the extra portion of the Octopus King's organ back to Leng Feng for consumption. He got so many things just for killing a transcendent third-order beast. 1.2 million evolution points and an additional 400,000 boost in raw spiritual power. The cherry on top is a new skill with high potential. Transference allows him to transfer his consciousness to a new plant, essentially making a new self. It might sound OP as hell, but God Tree worries that this would mean making multiple copies of himself, and it might not be as good of an idea as one would think. For now, he'll just forget it. This ability has no real use for now anyway. Just as that was happening, there's a fascinating thing happening somewhere far from the Misty Mountain. A plant with the colors of a rainbow just started sprouting and blooming to a beautiful hue. It has also awakened consciousness, just like when God Tree started. The beautiful flower has bloomed in the middle of a shallow body of water in the middle of nowhere. It has only started awakening a conscious mind, and it's already affecting the surrounding elements in a drastic manner. The flower is already capable of emanating a high level of undeniable power to the point of reaching the skies. This phenomenon has caught the attention of the nearby human metropolis, the White Emperor City. The city's lord, named Wang Hao, a transcendent human inducted to one of the 10 great geniuses, was one of the first ones to sense the aura of an extraordinary treasure being born. He ordered his people to notify the Federation regarding the appearance of an extraordinary resource, as they must get manpower to make the first move. On the other side of White Emperor City was the equally prosperous and powerful Sea Guardian City. They just received news of the White Emperor Wang Hao's discovery and envied his luck for spotting such a treasure near his city's defense. Some people are fond of looking down on the White Emperor for being a commoner, a fool that doesn't even know what stroke of luck he just stumbled upon. Hearing those ignorantly arrogant words come out of his subordinate's mouth, the blue-haired lord immediately dished out a hard fist to the face. Sea Guardian City Lord Zhao Jiao, also one of the 10 great geniuses, doesn't need the commentary of low-level beings. Zhao Jiao is not letting this chance go by. He also wants to jump into the action and rush with his own manpower. Sea Guardian City's lord is a greedy man, and he's determined to obtain the extraordinary treasure for himself. The ones vying for this phenomenon are not just the White Emperor and Sea Guardian City. Other major metropolises like Yan and Most City are also mobilizing troops. Even some mysterious forces within the Federation are on the move. The human force is seething with hidden undercurrents. Meanwhile, Inferno City had also just received information regarding the upcoming treasure tug-of-war. The murmurs of another divine flower, no less than the God Tree appearing, have reached Shi Yaoling's ears. Her transcendent first-order servant, Kylie Huoer, is giving her the rundown of the multiple cities and covert squads being deployed to the location. She knows that this is the type of thing that moves the power dynamic of the world. The seemingly united Federation is nothing more than scattered sand in the face of greed. But all of this doesn't matter. If the humans obtain the power of this divine flower, it would be bad news for her beloved Misty Mountain. So, Shi Yaoling ordered the mobilization of her genetic forces. They'll also be striving to seize the flower's power. The vampiric Kylie Huo are scattered into the wind with his thousands of bat forms. Shi Yaoling also sent a message to one of the peregrine falcons, Achi, to relay the information to the God Tree and the beasts. Achi is a fast-moving beast, so who needs internet and text messaging if you have a transcendent bird messenger? It's like Twitter, but using a literal bird. The Misty Mountains remained relatively peaceful and unaware of the massive world developments in progress. The first ones to receive the urgent news were the deadly squad of the Demon Cow. He was sitting on his throne, surrounded by his fearsome beast generals like the King of Hell. They cannot stay idle while there is news of a divine flower that just bloomed. Since he was holding down the fort at Misty Mountains, Achi still needs to go to the northern outskirts and inform the master. In the meantime, Emperor Alligator should come back to guard the Misty Mountains for now. Time is of the essence, so Demon Cow must take action before the humans get their grubby hands on a precious resource. He'll take his battle axe and assume the role of the first responder. He's going out to scout the site. Meanwhile, the transcendent human forces have already finished preparations. Some forces have already set out for the flower harvest. Of course, the one leading the expedition as the White Emperor City elites traverse a march was their city lord, Wang Hao. As they get deeper and deeper into the marsh, Wan Hao warned his troops to be extra cautious as he's starting to feel that there's something really off in this place. From the moment he stepped in, he started feeling like his consciousness is being stolen away bit by bit. The place where the divine flower bloomed is nothing short of strange. The further in they go, the stronger the ominous sensation continues to become stronger. That also means that they are getting closer to the target. Unfortunately for these fools, they don't know what they're up against. A soldier named Yuan Feng started coughing heavily and clutching his head in pain. White Emperor Wan Hao did not know what the hell was happening. But it cannot be good at all. It's probably COVID. My guy. They should get that boy tested. Yuan Feng's eyes have started glowing bright green, and his veins are popping out. Wan Hao did not know the specifics. All he knew was that all of them must hurry and get away from Yuan Feng. Speaking of the guy, he just pulled out his fiery sword and started hacking and slashing away at his fellow soldiers. You don't think that Yuan Feng has gone mad? Attacking his colleagues like he's seeing his most hated enemy. But the mad soldier still has the capability to utilize his combat skills proficiently, evident by his masterful blade strike. Given that they've been fellow soldiers with this Yuan Feng guy, the other soldiers knew that this was bad news. That blade strike move can kill a first-order transcendent beast in one go. On the other side of the world, up in the northern outskirts, the god tree was just complaining about enduring agonizing pain while upgrading his roots to level 4. He was still reeling from the agony of getting multiple times stronger when Ah Chi, the peregrine falcon, finally arrived with a news flash. Yu was naturally curious and interested after hearing that there's a divine flower out there that possesses powers no less than his. He knows the implications of this phenomenon. It will shake the entire Federation. With so many people fighting over the potential power, every faction is taking a big risk. Demon Cow might have joined the fray, but he alone won't be enough. It's of the utmost importance to not let this flower fall into the hands of humans. With a job this big, Godtree only trusts his best general, the most powerful beast in his roster, the graceful Nine Tails. She's the only one that the God Tree can trust to secure that divine flower. The location that all forces in the world are vying for looks like a decrepit swamp with nothing special to note. The second battalion that arrived at the site was the Sea Guardian City troops, spearheaded by their transcendent second-order city lord, Zhao Jiyao. The blue-geared lord did not expect the sight that would greet them not far from the divine flower. The White Emperor Wan Hao was just dejectedly sitting on a piece of log instead of seizing the treasure. No matter how tough and greedy Zhao Jiyao is, it's still a shocking sight to see a fellow city lord alone and down without his elite team. Wan Hao explained that those below second order of transcendence cannot even go near the site. The divine flower can control minds, and being low level is a guaranteed death sentence. Zhao Jiyao is not buying it. He refuses to believe that Wan Hao is just waiting in the outskirts to tell him this info. If there's no one else around the White Emperor, that just means that he just wiped out his own team. The look that Wan Hao gave Zhao Jiyao right after was enough proof that the White Emperor was not playing around. They can accompany each other or go solo. Zhao Jiyao is arrogant and greedy, but he's not stupid. He knows that this is a serious matter. So he plans to go ahead while leaving his vice commander to lead the rest of his brothers in arms to guard the entrance. Zhao Jiyao's vice commander is a very competent man. He'll see to it that the entrance is secured. White Emperor's red aura and Zhao Jiyao's green glow zoom through the place like two powerful meteors heading for the same target. The unlikely duo traveled as fast as they could. Time is of the essence when it comes to seizing immeasurable power. While up in the air, Zhao Jiyao noticed that they are not the only ones that have gotten this close to the goal. There is a covert squad clad in black cloaks staying low on the ground and sneakily inching towards the divine flower. Zhao Jiyao's arrogance finally flared up. He thinks that those cloaked guys are just a bunch of ants trying to steal from the tiger's mouth. He intends to wipe them out all at once. This type of behavior was stupidly conceited, and the White Emperor warns the Sea Guardian City Lord to not underestimate the enemies. But the Green Lord was already getting desperate. There's nothing in the world he wants more than to get hold of the divine flower. So, the City Lord duo might look like they are working together, but they are naturally in this for themselves. The cloaked figures recognize that those two meteors were two prominent geniuses and city lords. If they follow closely behind them, they can mitigate some danger. Those dark cloak creeps are not the only ones creeping up to the prize. There's a man with a bamboo hat concealing himself in the woods. There are the ninja-looking bastards. They look like edgy cosplayers, but they're probably really strong. There's also the Golden Mask faction lurking in the bushes. The divine flower just gained consciousness, and it's already feeling unfamiliar auras increasing in number. One thing's for sure is that they're all coming to its direction. Countless eyes full of nothing but greed and desire are trying to mess with the newly bloomed treasure, and all the flowers could think about is that this situation's annoying. The White Emperor is going full throttle while slaying beasts along the way. This time it was some unfortunate rat's last day. Zhao Jiao is not someone to mess with as well. His bizarre green energy is used as a piercing laser that shreds through savage beasts. For a second-order transcendent city lord, this much destruction was like a walk in the park. But all the killing is slowing the duo down. The deeper they go, the more extraordinary beasts there are. All these nuisances are controlled by the divine flower. Among the swarm after swarm, there are several transcendent first orders mixed up. Wan Hao and Zhao Jiao still have a bit of distance left until they reach the heart of the land where the divine flower lies. They must move quickly. The increasing number of beasts also indicates that they are getting closer to the target. They were so locked in and obsessed about the flower that they didn't notice something big coming, something that can shock the duo and the surroundings. By the time they noticed the anomaly, the massive aura was already looming above them. There was a gigantic horse beast running like a war stallion and destroying everything along its path. It was a savage raging steed, an extraordinary beast in the second order of transcendence. The duo is also on the same level, but a transcendent second order beast is at least a few levels stronger than a human. To make matters worse, they're facing not just one but two. A second order transcendent inferno abyssal falcon who's also targeting them from up above. Right now, the two city lords are sandwiched between two humongous monsters that can wipe out whole human armies. The duo's aim is to get the divine flowers, so retreat is the wisest option. They can't let these monsters wear them down before even seeing a glimpse of the treasure. In the meantime, the divine flower was just chilling in its watery domain. But it seems like there's one person that managed to creep up without getting noticed. He's come within earshot of the flower, and there are no beasts around the divine lake. The man with the bamboo hat plans to devour that precious plant. He thinks that he might be able to directly ascend from the second order to the third order. No. Perhaps ascending to the fourth order might even be possible. But those plans might have to be put on hold as a rushing force caught the fat man under the bamboo hat by surprise. Above him was the duo of Supreme City Lords flying like they're competing in a speedster face-off against one another. Zhao Jiao and Wan Hao can now see their desired divine flower, and the desperation and greed couldn't help but surface. The sight of that divine plant can drive these power-hungry people to insanity. It's a priceless artifact, and there's not one deterrent in the vicinity. Unfortunately for the two city lords, the monstrous steed and falcon are still hot on their heels, and slowing down means going face-to-face with their lives on the line. 2 minutes misfortune is one man's gain. The bamboo hat fatty remained unnoticed by the four powerhouses that just flew by. Wan Hao knows that they're not going to get anywhere at this rate. He wants Zhao Jiao to go ahead and seize the divine flower while he wrestles with the two titans. The Sea Guardian City Lord's eyes lit up with malicious joy as he was just given a free ticket to claiming the ultimate prize. Seeing this development, Bamboo Hat Fatty could not sit idly while Zhao Jiao gets a precious power-up for free. He has jumped into the fray, matching the City Lord's speed while reaching for the divine flower at the same time. The two were clueless about the emerging threat coming from the bottom of the divine lake. A serpentine silhouette was slithering underneath. The two competitors were a tad bit too late in noticing the looming threat right beneath their feet. A colossal snake broke through the lake's surface. Its maw was wide open and ready to consume the unsuspecting victims. The serpent was fast and strong, capable of dishing out a killer surprise attack under other circumstances. But it wasn't as accurate as it needed to be today. Zhao Jiao and Bamboo Hat Fatty managed to move their bodies out of the way in the nick of time. They thought that it was just a straight shot to the promise of unfathomable strength, but with the murderous serpent guarding the divine flower, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. The events happening in the once peaceful territory were being observed by the Spiritual Power Monitoring Bureau. Reports say that there are 20 individuals with over 100,000 spiritual power. Among them, 8 have surpassed 300,000. Miss Director was flabbergasted with the scale of what's happening on-site. She needs a visual of the powerful beings involved in this war. She ordered an image freeze to identify those with over 300,000 spirit power points. Displayed were the two city lords, the Inferno Abyssal Falcon, the Savage Raging Steed, Bamboo Hat Fatty, an image of a cow-like monster, and a woman wearing a transcendent soldier uniform. One particular image caught Miss Director's eyes for its implication. She needs a zoom on the image at the back. The Spiritual Power Monitoring Bureau is quite familiar with the cow-like monster that just joined the Divine Flower War. The demon cow is going full speed ahead, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. This can only mean one thing for the Bureau's director. The Misty Mountains have joined the fight, and that can only mean bad news. This girl is always stressed out, literally 0 wins against the God Tree. There's also another person that the director did not expect to get involved. She didn't know that the army's supposed golden child, Miss Xiao Ling, is actually interested in the struggle for the Divine Flower too. Things are heating up in the vicinity of the Divine Lake. The demonic falcon is going crazy with its intimidation tactics. The White Emperor Wang Hao is not one to get intimidated easily though. The guy single-handedly wiped out his own army. That's hardcore. And with his laser sword-looking attack, he slashed the poor falcon's neck like a butcher chopping a chicken. The falcon lost balance and dropped to the ground, its gigantic body making a big mess of the trees around. At the same time, Bamboo Hat Fatty, equipped with an odd weapon, a giant spoon, was forced to work with Zhou Jiyao to neutralize the fearsome serpent. But even with this life and death battle, Zhou Jiyao managed to find an opening to exploit. He directed the snake's attention to focus on Fatty. The greedy city lord successfully cleared the obstacles by tricking and cheating his way to the Divine Flower. He has advanced to the point that there's only a few inches of water separating him from the promise of being stronger, perhaps even the strongest. Karma was a bit of a bitch though. Demon Cow has finally arrived at the scene. The Sea Guardian City Lord's grubby hands were swatted away by a gigantic war axe. The Misty Mountain representative has finally come through to execute the will of the God Tree. Zhou Jiyao tanked the hit remarkably, but the excessive force from Demon Cow's swing has sent him flying away from the ultimate prize. He was so close to greatness, he could practically smell the flower's scent a few moments ago. But now, an even bigger and badder obstacle just sprung up out of nowhere. As usual, the Misty Mountains are the best in obstructing humans from getting a win. To say that Zhou Jiyao was angry would be an understatement. He didn't expect that humanity's enemies would appear, but he's pumped to fight all out now. It looks like the City Lord could possibly back up his words and greed with an impressive innate ability to conjure up a hell serpent. It was an ethereal being that he can fully control to jump in and kill whoever he wanted. But the purple soul of some snake is not enough to make Demon Cow falter. An axe strike was all it took to block the charge. The incorporeal body immediately started disintegrating after being hacked into 2. Cool guys don't look at explosions and soul fragmentations. That's just how Demon Cow moves. The stupid worm wanted to fire just one more sneak attack from the back, and it ended up eating the collapse of gravitational force. The snake's soul was nearing its end. It has gone down considerably in size, but it's still surprisingly tenacious enough to fight. That is until it was burned down by a high-temperature blaze accompanied by a fierce voice shouting "Ignite." Xiao Ling has also entered the battlefield. She even gave Demon Cow some covered advice not to engage the enemies in a long-range battle. Xiao Ling's eyes look a lot happier after seeing an old friend. She even called Demon Cow a foolish bull for not fighting up close. It's been a while, so even the tough monster could not help but terrible little after seeing one of Misty Mountain's original members. A few feet from the sweet reunion, Zhou Jiyao was being swept by tidal waves generated by the Demon Cow. The proper reunion could wait. Xiao Ling and Demon Cow can talk later. But first, they must defeat the enemies. The greedy city lord might have lost his hell serpent, but he still retains some of its physical augmentation properties. Now that the waves have subsided a little bit, he can finally see that another competitor just arrived. Every human soldier knows who Xiao Ling was. Using the advice of their little miss, Demon Cow immediately closed the gap and went axe to fist with the puny human. Zhou Jiyao could not make sense of what was happening. The bullish beast was going for him while ignoring Xiao Ling's advance to the flower. Demon Cow just proclaimed that whoever hurts what's valuable to him won't make it out alive. A city lord knows that if they continue banging their heads against each other, it won't end for about half an hour. A monster was blocking his way to power, and nothing could infuriate him more. To make things worse, Demon Cow just made him eat tons and tons of gravitational weight through the heavy blade domain. The burden of it all was unbearable, even for a second-order transcendent human to endure. But that's not all you see. This technique was Demon Cow's surefire kill shot. Gravity for control, then a heavy axe blade to the face for the fatality. The wombo combo sent Zhou Jiyao bouncing through the water like a skipping stone. His internal organs were a wreck. He's been knocked away from the divine flower. And now he's throwing up blood. The frustration drove the arrogant city lord to unleashing his full power. Demon Cow was confident that he could play with this human, but he didn't expect a display of such a malevolent aura. A few meters from the ongoing battles, Xiao Ling has arrived a few feet away from the divine flower. She arrived last of the party, and she was still the first one to get so close so easily. Seeing the divine flower up close and personal stirred up some complicated emotions within the young woman. The flower actually chose to engage with her through a telepathic connection. The divine flower knew that Shi Yaoling is not human, as both of their auras are identical. Shi Yaoling conversed back, now knowing that this plant had already awakened its consciousness just like her master back then. Since that was the case, Shi Yaoling decided to interact with the treasure using her true self, as Xiaoqing. Since the flower can control the bodies of living creatures, she wanted it to use her physical body, given that there are too many powerful individuals surrounding them and safety won't be guaranteed. With Xiaoqing's empty vessel, the divine flower can protect itself from the hands of human greed. This was a very thoughtful and effective plan, but the divine flower can't think of a reason why this girl was lending assistance. Xiaoqing simply answered that she's doing all of this because they are of the same kind. The Inferno Abyssal Falcon continues its brutal struggle against Wang Hao, the White Emperor, away from the flower. The man even brought out his Sith Lord lightsaber while standing on water, and the bird's still going strong. The White Emperor's biggest problem at this point was the Falcon's uncanny ability to heal up its injuries no matter how severe. A massive cut from the lightsaber can turn into nothing but blood stains in a matter of seconds. Wang Hao essentially conceded the right to seize the plant to tussle with the beasts, and he's already at a disadvantage against the Falcon in the battle of attrition. While the Black Bird was giving the White Emperor a lesson, something significant was happening just a few steps away. The feeling in sight of a massive pillar of light did not look like good news to Wang Hao at all. Even Xiao Jiyao and the demon cow were distracted by what was happening in the middle of the lake for a moment. Bamboo Hat Fatty and the giant lake snake also stopped their intense struggle to look at the source of commotion. In the spot where the divine flower was located, Shi Yaoling's body started shooting out a gleaming beam of light into the air. Next to her was the rainbow-colored plant slowly coming apart while emanating a strange power. This progression has set something drastic into motion, and it started with the lake snake. The green light possessing its eyes has gradually faded, and it recovered its consciousness. The next one up was the Inferno Abyssal Falcon. It has been under the control of the divine flower for the whole duration of the battle, and has now returned to its savage and uncontrolled state. After getting free from a mystical spell that essentially sidelined its beastly mind, the giant lake snake started going on a furious rampage. The savage raging steed has also been freed from the clutches of the plant. With the three fearsome beasts together, working under the same source of rage, the divine flower war just got a lot more vicious. Even the forces that are staying out of sight and biding for time can see that this is not a good development at all. Regardless, the aim for this battle remains the same. Get the divine flower no matter what happens. This is not the optimal time to reveal themselves, but the hidden factions have no choice but to move, or it will be too late. The demon cow wanted to get the reptilian-looking city lord out of the way to check on Shi Yaoling, but the man was not going to give him an easy pass. The three angry beasts and the cover human squad are all heading to Shi Yaoling's spot. All of them are trying to get a piece of the precious treasure. In response to the terrifying strike force heading directly for her, Shi Yaoling just quietly conjured her inferno butterflies. Countless faint and beautiful flutters of tiny wings can be heard flapping in the air. In the middle of a beautifully scorching display of skill was Shi Yaoling's terrifyingly destructive potential. She ordered her army of inferno butterflies to go ahead and burn those that dare encroach in her space. At the forefront of the incoming collision were the three raging beasts, intent on getting their revenge against the divine flower. These three have already lost rational thought, even though they were intelligent beasts of the second-order transcendence. In that moment, the only thing they saw besides Shi Yaoling's pillar of light were a few sparkles of fire glimmering in the air. Next came the detonation of explosions after explosions that could rival nuclear power. The burn was intense and destructive. It swallowed everything in its path. No matter if it's beast or human, getting near that power was a death sentence that burns to the bones. Even those that are engaged in their fights far from the epicenter of the explosion were caught up in the impact that it made. Some of the cover forces that chose to wait just a little bit more dodged a nuclear-sized bullet. The flames are so strong that they're evaporating the lake. The foolish lake snake, the other beasts, and the stupid opportunistic humans were eradicated just like that. Shi Yaoling's body did not even move an inch while the divine flower continues to emanate a mysterious energy. Shi Yaoling opened her eyes, and the color of her eyes had changed to a green light full of vitality. The Golden Mass faction noticed the change on the Flame Princess's eyes and assumed that she's being controlled after touching the divine flower directly. If they were going by the logic of things, that should be a spot on deduction. She really does have the telltale signs of someone under the plan's control. Whatever happened, The situation has just become very troublesome for the whole human faction. The divine flower is still up for grabs, but there's also the rise of a powerful enemy in the form of the Flame Princess. Her spiritual power can be measured at around 400,000 points. In truth, Shi Yaoling's body really was under the control of the divine flower willfully. In direct vessel, the plant's soul can feel that it can get even stronger. This statement worried and caught Shi Yaoling off guard. We'll call her Flower Shi Yaoling for now, and she's jumping out of the lake for some experimentations. She started gathering energy like a character from Dragon Ball Z, screaming at the top of her lungs while her power level rises to a critical point. To complete the transformation, she even started emitting a golden beam of light once again. That's just full-on Super Saiyan at this point. Everyone stopped in their tracks and paused their battles at this point. All their attention was focused solely on the Flame Princess going full power. To those that can sense spiritual power intuitively like Wan Hao, Shi Yaoling's state was simply incomprehensible. The White Emperor did not expect that the Federation Army's supposed golden child was this powerful. Just the excess aura that she's emitting was bending the surroundings around her. The water of the lake was evaporating and being blown away. Mr. Sea Guardian City Lord and everyone else have always known that she's strong, but no one expected her to be this strong. It looks like her power-up process has finally reached its cap. Shi Yaoling has attained a spiritual power of 700,000 points, a realm that no human should have attained at this point in time. Bamboo Hat Fatty was under the delusion that he could go against Shi Yaoling with his measly 320,000 points, and the only thing stopping him was the wrath of the Federation. Soul Xiaoqing did not expect that the flower can do something like this, but the enhancement is only temporary. Some auras are concealed, but there are still too many powerful individuals hiding and waiting for an opportunity nearby. Moreover, there are a large number of beasts heading their way, and retreat would be extremely difficult. But even if the divine flower can leave with the help of Shi Yaoling's body, it doesn't even know where to go. Soul Xiaoqing initially proposed going to the Celestial Mountain, an area that humans would not dare enter for its extreme conditions. The divine flower is essentially defenseless with just its base plant form, so that might be out of the question. Luckily, Xiaoqing knows a place somewhere else, a place that we know all too well. The divine flower can always just go to the God Tree's domain, the Misty Mountains. The divine flower inside Shi Yaoling's body had no clue what the Misty Mountains were and what they represented. But Xiaoqing's soul was there to convince it that it's the only place where survival is a possibility. She added that if the flower is willing, it can look for the beast in the shape of a barbaric cow, and that beast will serve as a guide. But before the flower does all that, it still has one lingering question in mind. It wants to make something clear first and foremost. It wants to confirm that Xiaoqing was from the Misty Mountains as well. She just gave the young plant soul an affirming and confident smile. In the middle of the divine lake's chaos, the flower needs a favor from the soul of the Flame Princess. Meanwhile, Demon Cow was still wielding his war axe against the full-powered Zhao Jiao and his multiple-headed Hell Serpent. His motivations align perfectly with his weapon of choice. He wants to send the cow to hell. They have been going at it for quite some time now, and the cow will not let that happen so easily. To make matters even bleaker for the city lord, Xiaoqing has chosen to intervene in the fight, dishing out a painful kick to the jaw. Zhao Jiao just can't stop taking L's. He has been bouncing around the divine lake every time someone interrupts his fights. Xiaoqing advised Demon Cow to hurry and take the divine flower vessel and leave the area immediately. She will now be taking over and holding the pesky humans off. Given that Demon Cow has been experiencing early signs of battle fatigue, he easily agreed. With the divine flower's soul inhabiting a premier vessel for power in the form of the Flame Princess, this much shouldn't be a problem. She started manipulating the surrounding temperature and conjured massive whirlpools of boiling water. The Golden Mask squad hiding in the nearby woods were equally impressed and terrified at the sight. Using the towering heights of the whirlpools and the temperature from the aura around her body, Xiaoqing detonated a special kind of bomb, a steam bomb that obscured everyone's sight. Everyone within the immediate vicinity of the massive divine lake was affected by the smoky steam bomb. The main target of the obstruction was the humans that were trying to get their hands on the prize. Meanwhile, the divine flower is now heading for Demon Cow unbarred. The cow heard an ethereal voice speak to him, urging him to just hurry up and go. Despite the thick cover of steam, the Golden Mask squad still managed to sense that the divine flower is in motion. This was the perfect time for them to finally make a move. Bamboo Hat Fatty also refuses to let such a tasty treasure slip away after struggling to get this far. His will to get to a higher level of strength was admirable. However, a fiery laser beam won't let him get too far. Xiaoqing is going to do her job of holding off the humans, and she's going to do it well. The fierce look in her eyes suggested that these people are not even going to have the chance to touch a single paddle. Bamboo Hat Fatty has been shot out of the sky and landed directly next to the Sea Guardian City Lord. He gritted his teeth in pain after tanking a sneaky nuclear shot from the back. Xiao Qing is moving through the steam as if she can see the whole area without any problems. Xiao Jiyao and Fatty naturally have some bad blood against each other as they're competing for the same thing. But this is a bad time to hash that out or mock each other. When asked if he can defeat the Flame Princess, even the Sea Guardian City Lord can't possibly give a certain answer, as it appears to be that she's still under control. Right now, the Divine Flower has been moved, and it seems like Demon Cow and the others have also left. A few moments ago, the Divine Flower asked Xiao Qing's soul to go back to her body while pretending to be under control. She'll then create chaos to aid in the flower's escape. Given that the rescue mission is now underway, perhaps the real Xiao Qing can have some fun under the guise of being out of control. This way, she can have some free reign to enjoy herself for a little bit more while bullying some so-called geniuses. The escape from the Divine Lake is going smoothly thus far. Demon Cow and Divine Flower are effectively using the thick steam as cover. Within the ashes of the previous Inferno Butterfly nuclear explosion, rises the Inferno Abyssal Falcon back to a battle-ready state. It looks like the damn bird has built up some rivalry against the White Emperor. Having beef with an unkillable demon chicken, Wan Hao really was an unlucky guy. He's been forced to conceive the Divine Flower, and just when he was given the window of opportunity to hop back in, he's being forced to fight an endless battle. Fortunately for the White Emperor, the Falcon's desire to consume and get revenge against the Divine Flower is stronger than its hate for humans. So, the black bird zooms through the air, chasing after the flower's presence. Wan Hao heaved a sigh of relief as it looks like he's not going to be locked in an endless battle, but it's not going to be a clear, straight shot for the treasure for him either, as two streaks of light made impact just behind where he's standing. It was the Bamboo Hat Fatty and Zha Jiao. The two looked like they were just beaten black and blue. They could only grit their teeth in frustration and pain for being supremely humbled. The Federation's golden child, the one dubbed as the Flame Princess, was just too strong beyond measure. Try as Fatty might, he can't see a single scenario where he wins against someone this strong. The same goes for Xiao Jiyao. Arrogant and conceited as he might be, he knows damn well that they are no match. Wan Hao has not faced her yet, but based on the other two's condition, he also knew that Xiao Ling is the trickiest person to go up against. Once again, the White Emperor is trying so hard to play hero, telling the other two to go after the Divine Flower while he goes up against the Flame Princess. This time, it's for the sake of humanity itself. They must not let the power of such a formidable treasure fall to the hands of the Misty Mountains. The Divine Flower holds the key to tipping the scale of the world's power balance. Meanwhile, up in the northern upskirt, the God Tree was just chilling while the Divine Flower war is going full force. He trusts his subordinates, and the only thing on his mind is if they've already succeeded on the mission. Xiao Qing manipulated a fiery storm directed towards the White Emperor Martyr. The white-haired city lord tried his best to neutralize the incoming attack with a swing of his Sith Lord lightsaber. The collision resulted in a beautifully horrifying updraft of volumes upon volumes of Divine Lake water. Running on the sidelines were the opportunistic Golden Mask squad. They did not care about the tussle happening in the water. They just wanted to get the flower as soon as they were able. Even so, the strength of the two young prodigies fighting down there far exceeded anyone's imagination. The Flame Princess's original strength was already impressive, and the Divine Flower's ability took it to a different level. Perhaps even more surprising was that Wan Hao could actually contend with such power. If the boss and second brother of the Golden Mask squad were here, they would probably face a tough battle. Nevertheless, this opened a way for the squad to go after the treasure freely. Whether it's the Divine Flower or the Demon Cow, the Golden Mask squad, formerly known as the Dragon Guards, must capture them. In the distance, greedy humans are not the only ones attracted to the possibility of a power-up. Beasts of all shapes, sizes, and species have formed a monstrous stampede with the aim of going after the flower. Right now, Bamboo Hat Fatty and Zhao Jiao are continuing to put their differences aside. They've united under the same hatred for the Demon Cow. Speaking of it, looks like our gravitational muscular boy is having some trouble, even though they had a running start. They managed to slip away from the pesky humans, but are now being chased by a plethora of beasts hungry for power. Those monsters are all attracted to the defenseless flower's spiritual power. To them, it's like a potent tonic for instant strength. If the chase continues at this rate, Demon Cow would eventually be caught due to his dwindling spiritual power reserves. The rainbow-colored flower might have something to solve that issue, though, in a blink of an eye. It was as if the cow just caught a second wind. No, it was a whole power-up with regards to stamina and power. He felt a weird feeling deep inside his body. A surge of strength previously locked can now be accessed. To capitalize on that surging feel, Demon Cow primed his hoof for takeoff. His jump created a crater with how much force it generated. He blasted off to a far distance in an instant. Right now, the cow and flower duo are leaving the beastly stampede behind, eating their dust. The fatty and the city lord initially thought that they can catch up given an ample amount of time, but that might not be the case anymore. The demon cow ran so fast that he just left a trail of bright lights for the pursuers to look at. He traversed the massive forest in a split second while making a path of his own. Not far from where the cow was headed, it looks like some new developments are getting close. Ninetails, along with Thorn sitting on top of the flying white tiger, has finally entered the outskirts of the vast forest. The fire fox upped her speed and urged the white tiger to do so as well. She senses a bad feeling nagging her. Thorn and the white tiger promptly follow their senior's actions and kick the gear higher. To make sure that they get to the action on time, Ninetails pulled some strength from her newly upgraded spiritual power pool. The two monstrous reinforcements swirled around the air as they inched closer to the main event. Below them was the Iron Eater Panda. With no flight capabilities, the little guy could only look up helplessly. Thorn got a flying white tiger, and all he had was the mutated Arctic bear to use as a vehicle. Shingang was also stuck on the ground, swimming through the earth with his ability. Demon Cow is continuing to utilize the Divine Flower's supportive technique as best as he can. They've even pulled out to the point that there are no visible pursuers coming from behind. It looks like they've successfully shaken them off. But now would be a premature time to celebrate, as a golden arrow, almost as fast as them, is zooming through the air. Thankfully, the arrow's velocity was not quite enough to even touch a hair on the demon cow's luscious hair. The Dragon Guard archer was quite impressed with how fast the reaction and evasion was. The cow and flower duo might have managed to avoid a powerful attack, but it looks like they will be forced to fight at a disadvantaged angle. As the archer from the high ground gets the duo's attention, the Divine Flower sensed something coming and shouted caution. Two Dragon Guard swordsmen and their golden light blade have come out of nowhere, successfully hiding themselves and executing a fine ambush. The Dragon Guards work flawlessly with each other as they dish out a cross slash. The next thing you know, Demon Cow's blood has been spilled throughout the dirt. It was not enough to cut deep, but it hurts enough to make the demon bleed. Right now, it's a 3 versus 2, and those three are experts in preparation in their field. Now that Demon Cow can get a clear picture of the enemy, he noticed that these people have strong auras. Still, he believes that they are not strong enough to the point of being unbeatable yet. The bigger problem now is the large number of beasts that are rampaging closer and closer behind them. Demon Cow finally understood why the God Tree wanted his subjects to act together at times like this. The Dragon Guards proposed a deal. He just must hand over the Divine Flower and his life will be spared with no problems. Hearing that come out of the mouth of some random nobody deeply insulted Demon Cow. He turned his gravitational ability on, and the Dragon Guard swordsmen immediately felt the weight of the world on top of their shoulders. They have never experienced something quite as intense as this gravitational force manipulation. The cow has got them in the ropes, and he's not going to hold back anymore. Try as they might, the swordsmen could not even move an inch as the downward force is forcing them to kneel. The Demon Cow has pulled out his trump card, the grin. He's turning himself into a celestial body while constantly increasing gravity. Even the Divine Flower was getting scared as it does not know what the big guy was doing. Demon Cow was lost in the sauce. All he could think about was that this was not enough yet and he needs to be stronger. A lot stronger. He stretched his technique to the point of generating what looks to be a black hole where he was standing on. 3 high-ranking Dragon Guards have surrounded the Demon Cow, but now it looks like they're the ones on the back foot. This pause in running has given Zhao Jiyao and the bamboo hat fatty some time to catch up. They come close to the point where they are feeling the fight happening up front, but the farther they go, the stronger the gravitational force is becoming. In the battlefield, it looks like it will go down as a battle of sheer will and brute strength. One of the Dragon Guards scoffed at the gravitational force. He insisted that this power is not beyond what his body can withstand. The Dragon Guard intends to contest Demon Cow's power directly to see whose body will be brought down first. Demon Cow ramped up the power even more in response to that. But to his surprise, the Dragon Guard has managed to withstand the increasing weight and even got close enough to go for a punch. He's not one to shy away from an all-out brawl though. He's going fist to fist if that's what he needs. The swole Dragon Guard and the brutish cow landed their respective punches at the exact same time. The golden-masked mad lad finds it more fun to use his fist when fighting with beasts. He even managed to go even with the first exchange against the cow. Right now, it's like this anomaly of a human has broken free of the gravitational force as he activated his supreme ruler fist technique. He rained down countless punches like a JoJo character with his heavy mechanoid fist. Seeing how well his attacks landed, Dragon Boy had the audacity to talk trash to the demon cow about how much stronger he is. Before he could speak another disrespectful word, a blindingly fast fist was already buried deep into his face. It was an uppercut to end all uppercuts. It was the type of punch that would take a normal person's head off. The cow's not done yet. The rage and disrespect he felt won't be corrected with just a single strike. So he's going for a downward body blow that would surely scramble the Dragon Guard's internal organs. Getting hit by that punch felt like catching a falling meteor at point-blank range with how vast the crater the impact created. His teammate was getting violated, so the Dragon Guard archer stepped in to shoot a demon-breaking arrow from his bow. It was an incredibly formidable attack, and the cow can't just tank the hit, but he can certainly catch and stop it with his bare hands. In an effort to stop the deadly tip of that arrow from puncturing his face, Demon Cow was swept by its momentum, and while he was busy stopping one attack from the front, the other Dragon Guard was gearing up for a sneak attack from the back. The cow felt the swift presence behind his back a tad bit too late. A blade was already locked onto him. A purple glowing sword has lodged its sharpness throughout Demon Cow's back. Thankfully, the third Dragon Guard was a noob. He had the golden opportunity to end the fight, but could not cut deeply enough for a kill shot. All his sneak attack accomplished was angering the already furious cow even more than he already was. So Demon Cow got a little creative and used the demon-breaking arrow in his hand as a spear to absolutely wreck the Dragon Guard. It's not called a demon-breaking technique for nothing. Using it against a human was quite overkill. Even so, the failed assassin Dragon Guard still had enough juice to lift his purple blade and stop the arrow. But right now, his precious sword is out of commission. From the high ground, the archer watched as his 7th and 8th brothers suffered some convincing losses. He felt frustrated that none of their preparations worked, so he might as well just rain down golden arrows and hope that a few hits. Demon Cow has been depleted of energy and wounded all over the place. Now he needs to deal with a rain of arrows. A rain of golden arrows so packed and plentiful you would think that the stars in the sky were falling directly onto you. When the sharp rain came down, it came down hard and strong. A large-scale attack concentrated on a single target. The Golden Guard archer was not slowing down either. He just wanted to kill the beast, no matter what happens. It was a complete domination, demonstrating the importance of having the high ground and range advantage in certain battles. Divine Flower needed to step up, or it'll become defenseless once again. Free for the Dragon Guard's taking, so it utilized its energy to stop the volley. Flower tried to infiltrate the mind of the archer, and it certainly put a pause on the rain of golden arrows. But the controlling ability is not working at all. The Divine Flower's ability can only impose a bit of mental suppression against the archer. After getting stunned for a second, the Golden Guard knew that the flower tried to do some mind tricks against him. That quick second of stun and diverted attention was enough to spell a very grim fate, though. Demon Cow equipped his war axe while countless arrows are protruding from his body. He resolved himself that even if he has to die, he will take this irritating archer down with him. It was at that moment the archer knew he messed up. He could only curse himself for giving an opening for the opponent to exploit. The next second can be characterized as messy and powerful. The bloody and wound-covered Demon Cow has destroyed a portion of the cliff with his axe, but there's no dead archer to be seen in the rubble. He turned around to see what happened, only to spot that the 3 Dragon Guards have reunited. After an intense exchange of multiple attacks that would have destroyed an ordinary beast or human, the battle is back on square one. One thing's for sure is that the beast is downright terrifying. It's just a mere second-order transcendent, and yet it's on par with 3 Dragon Guard elites. Taking that slash to his back has left quite a slow-acting injury, and it's showing signs of effect with how Demon Cow is struggling to stand straight. As the Golden Brothers were thinking that they're now holding the advantage, the beast stampede along with the other humans have finally caught up. This is not a good development for either the Dragon Guards or Demon Cow. The unlikely duo of Zhao Jiyao and Bamboo Hat Fatty are deeply fixated on just taking the treasure and running themselves. The Beast Wave, on the other hand, is just operating on instinct at this point. Whoever gets to the Divine Flower first gets to devour its power. But it looks like everyone's plans are just about to be trounced once again. A pillar of pure flame shot down from up above. The Dragon Guard recognized the intensity of this unique flame. It came from Misty Mountain's #1 general, a pure spiritual energy with a blazing attribute. Ninetails has joined the fray, and she's ready to make some fried beasts for human. Mozilla Firefox is about to pop off. Ninetales has coalesced the pillar of fire into a sweeping wave of flames spreading out everywhere. Zhao Jiao and Bamboo Hat Fatty were separated from everyone else. The fire has segmented everyone by their groups. The beast stampede has also been barred from advancing even further. The divine flower turned to the big fellow, afraid that they might have much more formidable enemies now. But Demon Cow just looked up in the sky with a meaningful gaze. He reassured the flower that it's fine, and that they are safe now. For the most formidable beast of the Misty Mountain has come out to play. Every transcendent human soldier worth their salt knows the monsters of the Misty Mountain, especially the Fire Fox. Bamboo Hat Fatty started deliberating his next move. They have worked so hard to force the mutant cow into a corner, so it's hard to give up now. Ninetales is floating up in the air, unbothered by the array of opponents that have their eyes all up on her. The Divine Lake Snake knows that the beast in front of them is not just someone to mess with. Still, once you see the Divine Tonic that can put you on a whole other level, instincts would just take over and the tunnel vision kicks in. That's exactly what happened to the Divine Lake Snake. Desire has taken over the creature, and it wanted a bit, a huge one too. To everyone's surprise, it wasn't fire that stopped the snake's charge. It was a gigantic palm made up of pure earth. The snake immediately retreated fearfully after banging its head on an unknown and strange soil formation. The hand then contorted and transformed to a wave that intends to swallow the confused beast wave whole. From an earthen hand, the formation has transformed into a sturdy dome that imprisoned countless fearsome beasts. Qinggang has arrived at the scene with his newly unlocked form activated. His control of the earth element has reached a different realm. He used to be just a guy that can strengthen muscles. Now he can bend a primary element at will. As that was happening, the muscular dragon guard wanted to take advantage of the chaos to mount a sneak attack behind Ninetales. They've worked so hard to snatch the spirit flower, and they won't let some Misty Mountain beast stop them. He pulled out his best technique while Ninetales was exposed, the super tyrant machine gun blow. The fox turned around calmly and declared that the man was seeking death as she fired off a counter full of disdain. It was punches versus infernal fire. Who do you think wins that one? The dragon guard felt his fists and arms burn up like they had never felt before. The temperature that the attack emitted was equal to its powerful pushing force. Everyone down below saw how fearsome a fox can be. The city lord and Bamboo Hat Fatty were probably questioning their life decisions by now. The muscular dragon guard that Demon Cow went toe-to-toe with was brought down dead in just a matter of seconds. The remaining golden masked freaks started freaking out as they saw their 8th brother's corpse getting desecrated. Ninetales, just like everyone in this war, is just at the second-order transcendence, but the gap is still too big. Just one move easily erased a Dragon Palace guard's life. Unfortunately for the human forces, there are still more beasts pouring in. The Misty Mountains cavalry. The dignified paws of a white tiger gently landed on the ground as he folded his angelic wings neatly. Thorn carefully dismounted and prepared herself for war. The elite attack force of the Misty Mountain beasts has come out to teach the humans the difference between their strengths. Divine Flower was delighted that this fresh force is the big fellow's friends. Every single one of them possesses an impressive level of spiritual energy. But there's still someone else missing from the party. Iron Eater Panda and his trusty Arctic Bear have run out of breath after trying and failing to catch up to the others. The arrival of new beasts might have sent the others to despair, but Bamboo Hat Fatty felt his heart skip a beat for different reasons. He knew that the first time he laid eyes on Thorn's beauty, that he was in love. That did not escape White Tiger's attention. It pissed off that big cat for some reason. He did not waste a single second and pounced on the Fatty with a murderous roar. Fatty was just staring and falling in love, and now he's suddenly getting attacked. In this world, simping is punishable by death through Tiger. White Tiger spoke in perfect human tongue that everyone should quickly head to the master's side, otherwise everyone will die. Fatty just became even more confused. He had no idea what this big cat was yapping about. He narrowly avoided getting Thorn assured by blocking White Tiger's claws with his big spoon. Meanwhile, Sea Guardian City Lord is suiting up with his inferno serpents to go up against Thorn. He conjured the maximum amount of serpent heads and ordered them to charge. Thorn promptly responded with a very fitting counter, a vine attack that can serve as both defense and offense. The two similar styles of combat collided in a very colorful display of power. The Dragon Guards are not going to let the killing of one of their brothers slide. They are going after Ninetales. But that will not be a simple matter at all. Try as they might to exploit openings and blind spots. Ninetales just has the superior speed. She's not one to pull back too. Dodging an attack opens the possibility to counter with her fire. The Dragon Guard with the golden blade was swallowed by a scorching heat. It took everything that Dragon Boy has to shield his body from being turned into nothing but ash. Just like what he did with Demon Cow, the Dragon Guard archer is taking advantage of other combats to launch his rain of arrows. In just a few seconds, the archer managed to fire a lot of golden arrows only to be blocked by a thick layer of earth. The dome below their feet can easily be molded to whatever Qin Gong wants, and now it's serving as a shield. Qin Gong's next action was to contain the long-range threat on an earthen cell of his own once and for all. Where there is fire, there is Qin Gong. In the narrow sphere made of soil, he's taking on the archer in point-blank range. While all that was happening, Iron Eater Panda was still heaving for air a few miles away. He wonders if the war is over. He thinks that his allies won't win without him, so he needs to go lend help. There are fights happening all over and at the top of Qin Gong's earthen dome right now. Divine Flower complained that Big Fellow's friends just came to fight as soon as they got here. No one's even protecting them at this point. And with Demon Cow being severely injured, the incoming neighing of the savage raging steed is even more ominous. Flower did not expect that the dumb horse is not dead yet and it's charging straight for them. While the Divine Flower was freaking out, Demon Cow just sat unmoving while saying that he doesn't care. Even when the massive savage raging steed was just a few meters away from them, Big Fellow just sat there. That was because he believes that another little critter will arrive to make his entrance. And he did. Iron Eater Panda really likes making a grand entry. Just a moment ago, the little guy was dying of fatigue after running all day. Now he's smiling ear to ear as soon as he got to punch a horse in the face. Divine Flower might be the first one to prove that flowers can blush like a schoolgirl. And it's happening because of how allegedly cool little Panda was. Whether Panda is cool or not is up for debate, but his strength is the real deal. One punch sent the massive horse crashing to the earthen dome. Wearing his signature grin, little Panda made it in the nick of time. As soon as the cuddly bear looked directly at its direction, Divine Flower blushed even more. Demon Cow wanted to warn Panda that those humans and beasts are second-order transcendent and not to be underestimated. As always, the little guy is a ball of confidence. He even directly reassured the flower that it won't be harmed anymore now that he's here. After a brief talk with the cow, Panda is now jumping back into the fray to kick some horse ass. Divine Flower could not help but gush over how cool Panda was. White Tiger was continuing his relentless assault on the fatty that looked at Thorn a little too long. Fatty has lost his disguise, he's been scratched and wounded, and continuing this fight would only lead to death from exhaustion. Now that he's backed into a corner, he's going to need to pull out a move that he really doesn't want to use. Using this secret technique, even if he wins, would have far too heavy side effects. He has the ability to store an abnormal amount of matter inside his belly, and his weapon of choice was stomach acid. He releases everything that he has been stockpiling, and the sheer amount of the vile acid has blanketed the entire area. Definitely in the top 10 nastiest special moves of all time. Any living thing not strong enough to withstand the corrosive effect of the acid was met with a terrible fate. There was so much of this deadly viscous liquid that it even coated Qin Gong's earthen dome. After releasing his most powerful move, Bamboo Hat Fatty has turned into a sickly-looking boy with no meat on his bones. To devour the Divine Flower, he stored a large amount of stomach acid inside his system. One move used up all his prep work, but at least he won. All he must do was run away and recover some of his strength back now. He thought he won, but that was far from the truth. The acid did not even damage White Tiger one bit, and the ferocious attacks of the beast ultimately found its retreating malnourished victim. At that point, he knew what was about to come. It was over. White Tiger is as relentless as they come. The beast just saw the fatty look at Thorn in the way that he did not like, and the punishment was a violent death. On the top of the earthen dome, Qin Gong made quick work of the high and mighty Dragon Guard archer. Without the high ground and range advantage, it was basically a one-sided slaughter. It took a while, but Qin Gong had finally trapped the guy in an inescapable and painful torture formation. The archer admonished him and Thorn for being a traitor to the human race, cursing their formidable strength but aligning with the Misty Mountain. Qin Gong has made his peace with his decisions long ago, and for this matter, he has no further comment. The Dragon Boy archer met his gruesome end, impaled by the earth. There's only one more Dragon Guard left alive, and he just watched his 9th brother perish. Fortunately, or unfortunately for him, he might be following his brothers very soon. Ninetails did not like the fact that the enemy is not even respecting her enough to pay attention while engaged in a fight. The fox was about to go in for the kill shot, but the Dragon Guard was surprisingly gathering energy for a big dazzling attack. It was a massive golden energy sword slash that Ninetails could easily deal with, but little Panda wants to hop in and spice up the fight. He thinks that this pathetic sword slash doesn't even warrant a dodge. He just took it head-on and easily dispersed the golden energy like it was nothing. The dragon guard seems like he recognized the little panda, but our boy could not care less. He's going for kills. A punch from that tiny body could cripple even the sturdiest experts. Little panda would shatter your organs, then give you the most hauntingly innocent grin. Since the start of rapid evolution, humans have incorporated every panda in the world. There's just one of their species that ran away from the Blackbird Club Zoo. The name of that panda was Chizai. Little Buddy was naturally surprised that this random enemy knows his name. This last dragon guard told Little Buddy that his brother would be furious if he knew about him being a part of the Misty Mountain. Iron Eater Panda's lazy brother might have taken the human side, but he's his own man. Here comes the dragon guard, tempting Little Buddy to leave the Misty Mountain to reunite with his family. Hearing that has painted a complicated expression on Little Buddy's face.